Hello, everybody. I can see that a lot of people are still joining us, are coming into the room. And I just want to say a very warm welcome to today's training session for users and non-users of marbles with Herbert Puchta. My name is Lars Madsen, and I'm the International Sales Director at Helbing, and I will be your host today for the next 60 minutes together with Mariam Benis and Zineb from Calliope. I would like to thank you very much for joining us this Saturday morning, where you will enjoy the company of Dr. Herbert Puchta, the author of our 6 levels primary series Marbles, published by us, published by Helbing. And I would, of course, like to thank Mariam and Amin from Calliope and the whole team for helping us to organize this webinar and for reaching out to all of you. Today, Herbert will share with you some practical ideas and guidelines about how to use and enjoy marbles in your English classes with your students. And for those of you who still don't know Herbert Puchta, here are a few words about him. He holds a PhD in ELT pedagogy. He's a writer, teacher trainer, speaker, and has given lots of plenaries, talks, trainings, workshops, webinars, seminars, and what can I say more, in more than 50 countries in the world over the past many years. So before I pass the word or the microphone over to Herbert, Mariam Benis from Calliope would like to say a few words to you. So please, Mariam.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Sabah al khair. So I'm so pleased and so thrilled and so honored to have you with us and to have Dr. Herbert Puchta with us. You all know that he is extremely busy, etc., and he has really given us the I would say the priority in Morocco to conduct these sessions. So I would like to thank him on your behalf, and I would like to thank you for attending. And I wish you a very good webinar, and hoping to see you very soon, taking into account that we will be holding a webinar with Dr. Herbert Puchta on the 23rd of November. So enjoy your session, and thank you very much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariam. So just before we get started, please remember that all your cameras and microphones will be turned off, will remain turned off during the webinar. But if you have any questions or comments, you can use the chat box where you can address anything you would like to Herbert, and we will between Mariam, Herbert and me, we will try to help you out. Just remember to select everyone when you add something to the chat box. So Herbert, I will pass the word over to you for the next hour.
Thank you, Lars. Thank you, Mariam, for your kind words. And thank you all for joining us today. I'm delighted and overwhelmed with the huge number of people joining us this morning. I would also like to thank you for your kind words that you have written and are writing into the chat box. It's somebody saying it's a great pleasure. Somebody else says it's a great honor. Believe me, it's an honor and it's a pleasure for me too. So let's get started. The topic, obviously, as you know, is getting the most out of marbles, our 6 levels primary course. So this is a training session, actually, where I will be, if we look at the, hang on, how does this work? Here we go. If we look at the agenda, we'll be looking at a sample unit from Marbles 1. We'll be looking at a few other features that are not part of that sample unit. We'll then look at a sample unit from Marbles 3 and talk about a few other features in Marbles 3. And there will be a Q&A towards the end. We are a huge group, so I apologize in advance if we cannot answer all the questions, but I am, as you know, I think, very happy to work with you. I'm coming to Morocco also again in the spring of next year, and we're going to have another webinar also in November. So, oh, that's so kind. Somebody says, I dearly love this book, El Mehdi. That's lovely. Thanks so much. That's just what I want to hear at the beginning of this session. I know that we probably have people who are currently already using marbles, and I assume also quite a few others who are maybe interested in working with marbles in the future. So let's get started. Let us have a look at a sample unit from marbles. Let me stress again, those of you who came to my sessions when I was presenting marbles for the first time in various cities in Morocco, and those of you who've maybe been to one or two of my webinars, you know that I really want to stress the importance of social emotional learning when it comes to teaching children. It's such an important element of good teaching. And what we need to do is we need to help children to feel welcome. So my suggestion, I just like to quickly repeat this suggestion, point at it again. We have a welcome to the class chart with marbles. I suggest you hang it up in front of the class, and when children come to the classroom, you're waiting for them, and they select a little welcome ritual, and you carry that out with your learners. It doesn't take much time, but it makes such a difference. Here's the welcome chart. Children can choose between a high five, a bow, a handshake, a little hug, a wave, and a crazy little boogie woogie, a crazy little dance that they carry out with their teachers. Quite interestingly, and I've stressed this already, such little rituals are not about flower power teaching. They have actually been shown, and this is empirical research, to improve not only the classroom culture, the learning climate in a class, they have also been shown to actually improve children's academic results if they are carried out regularly. If a child feels welcome in the class, if the child can feel that the teacher is actually on their side, so to speak, and the teacher likes them and respects them and appreciates them as human beings, and not just of learners of certain sets of vocabulary or grammar or what have you. So let's look at a unit now. I've chosen unit 3. That's my family as a prototypical unit. We always start up with a short listening task here. The listening task already uses some of the new vocabulary, which we can see, which we can see on the right-hand side of the spread. So we have grandma, grandpa, sister, brother. We also have short, tall, old, and young. What I would like to show you also, because what is so important is that we introduce vocabulary when we talk about children in their first year of learning. Then what is so important is that we engage them in a multi-sensory way. So they listen to the words, They point at the images. They chant along with the chant here. So I'm not chanting this now. We'll be listening to a song later also. So we engage them in a multi-sensory way. They look, they hear, they touch, they point at the same time. And another way of actually introducing vocabulary in a multi-sensory way is through little videos. So what we can do here is we can use the presentation software and show to the children the words in an animated, through short videos. The key thing here is that children, so these are not very fast videos. Children normally like watching fast videos where there is a lot of action. Here we want them to be able to focus on the sound of the word. We want them to be able to listen into the words so that they can actually learn the pronunciation well. Okay, let me just play a few seconds from this video.
Grandma. Grandma. Grandpa. Grandpa. Mum.
Etc., etc. I'm not going further into this. This is very important because here children can also see the words, they can see the spelling, they hear the words. As I said, the pace is a rather slow pace here because we want them to listen
3.
fully to the
Listen, point, and remember.
Now this is the chant.
Chant.
Grandpa, sister, brother, mum, grandma, dad, old and young, tall and short, chant with me. What a lovely family! Grandpa, sister, brother, mum, grandma, dad, old and young, tall and short, chant with me. What a lovely family! Grandpa, sister, brother, mum,
and so on and so forth. This is important because the rhythm, the rhymes, and also these underlying tunes, we did that on purpose because that helps to retain the pronunciation, helps them to remember the words, and at the same time, it's also fun. This is just a little chant that children can, of course, speak along with. We always do the chants 3 times. Let me just give you a tip also here. Obviously, we cannot introduce all the possible words for members of a family in English, but of course, children may want to ask, for example, for other words like, I don't know, cousin or what have you. And so, or aunt, uncle, let's encourage them at a later stage, not while we are introducing the new words, but when you have a bit of time, let's ask them using the phrase what's in English. Sorry, there's a question mark missing. And then ask them to encourage them to ask for extra words, okay? Or one extra word. First, later, maybe 2, 3, 4. Write them on the board. Ask them to copy them in their vocabulary notebook. And support that also by coming back to their extra words. In other words, tell them that they should look at the extra words at home also, And gradually, they should also start picking up extra words from other sources, not something that they will be able to do in Unit 2 or Unit 3 already, unless their mom or their dad helps them a little bit, maybe. But gradually, so that children have the feeling they are collecting more words, and it's also their individual, it can become their individual passion to actually hunt for more words. Once we have established that, that can be really great. Then after the first spread, the second spread, always on the left-hand side of the page, starts with the first language point. In this case, who's that? That's my mom, that's my dad, etc., etc., etc. They can listen to that, they can read it, and then they can say it. Then they listen and they number these short dialogues. And obviously, this is then something they learn to use themselves. We can encourage them to bring photos, or we can encourage them to draw in very simple ways. We don't want them to spend too much time for that, but quickly draw little matchstick figures and ask one another, who is that? That's my mom, that's my dad, etc. The right-hand page of the second spread starts with Emma's phonics. So this is obviously training in pronunciation. Oh, thank you so much. I'm just reading your kind words as we're going along. We're such a big group. It's fantastic that I actually, what I normally do is that I refer back to what you are saying and comment on your kind comments. But it's just simply impossible today because we are hundreds of people in this webinar today. But I really appreciate. Well, this is actually because somebody says, would this be for kindergarten? This is actually for first year at primary school. It could, of course, be used in kindergarten if you have a very ambitious kindergarten program. So here we have pronunciation, phonics. Here the focus is on my mom, me, my mom and me. And then we have the first song. And I hope that those of you who are working with marbles will agree that the songs are really incredibly good. They have been produced for a specialist, a music specialist for this age group. So I write the lyrics, and we have a specialist composer who works a lot with children. And I think that shows, and we're also really proud of the song, the animated song videos. So let me just play this song here. You can, of course, because your microphone is not on, you can hum along or sing along happily. Here we go.
I'm sorry, my plane is in your hair. I really like my sister, I tell her every day. I really like my sister, but I just want to stay. I'm sorry, my pen just want to say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, your doll is in the tree. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, please don't look at me.
Okay, so that's an example of a song. The songs are extremely popular. Helbling really have made such an effort to get high quality production. Children can see the karaoke style lyrics there. They cannot not sing along. They will start singing along very soon. And the song have actually what I call earworm quality. You won't forget, your children won't forget the songs actually. So let's move on. The next spread is about language 2. Here the focus is on that's my brother, that's my dad. He is tall, he isn't tall, he's short. And then of course we also introduce not only he is, he isn't, she's, she isn't, she isn't, she is, and he isn't, he's in this case young, old, short, tall. That's the very important second language point here. And then we move on the next page, the one you can see on your right. That is a page where we use a little video that have one of two protagonists, James or Jenny. They are two English children from Brighton in the UK. And this is actually James in this video here. The idea is to present a culture focus where English children talk about their world. In this particular case, because it's family, we have decided to go for family holidays. Of course, this is, you know, year 1, unit 3. So it's not very language heavy, as you can see, but they're learning to say, and we see it here in the word box, on the beach, in the mountains, in a city. So that's my brother. He's in the mountains. That's me. I'm in a city, etc., etc. So let us quickly watch the video also. I'll come back to this drill suggestion in a moment. Here we go. This is James.
Hello, it's holiday time. Look at my holiday photos. This is me on a beach. Look, this is my boat. And this is my sandcastle. It's very big. And this is my sister Katie. And this is me in the mountains. Look! I love the mountains. What holiday photos have you got?
I think you can see the basic idea here. The basic idea obviously is, first of all, to introduce some language, like in the mountains and on the beach, and a word like sandcastle, what have you. And one tip that I would actually suggest here is to play the video. Just first of all, they watch the video. And then when you've played it maybe twice, on the third time, what I suggest is that you actually stop the video after each sentence. And here we can encourage our learners to use what Lev Vygotsky, the famous psychologist who was the expert on analyzing and studying language development in children, also in their mother tongue. And what he observed is that when children learn their mother tongue, there are often moments when they're actually sitting somewhere in a corner and they're playing with their toys and they're actually talking. They're talking to themselves. And what they do is they're talking to themselves or they're talking to their toys, and they're doing this at a low volume so we can hear them, but they're not talking to anybody else in the room. It's what is called private talk, okay? They're talking to themselves, to their toys, and they're almost like muttering there. And later, when we observe them, and this is called the silent talk, when children actually move their lips, but they talk internally. So my suggestion would be to suggest to children that I'm playing this video now, I'm playing it sentence for sentence, and I want them to repeat each sentence, first of all, in a private voice. So they will say it at a low volume, almost to themselves. And later, I'm doing the same thing. I ask them to use their silent voice. In other words, move their lips, but children actually repeat what they hear internally to themselves. Okay. For teenagers, because there's a question there, could this be used with teenagers also? It can, but there are other strategies and techniques that work better with teenagers. I'm actually giving a webinar on working with options, our teenage course book, at the end of November. Lars, maybe you can put the date there. I can't remember the date now. I think it's the 23rd, but I'm not quite sure. So if you're interested in hearing more, 23rd, yes. Thank you, Mohammed. So if you want to hear more about teaching teenagers, that is your seminar. Oops, I need to skip this. So I wanted to say another thing, and that was about drills. So getting them to repeat sentences. This is actually also a drill, some kind of a drill. What I would like to do is I would like you to avoid what is called semantic drills. So you say, he's short, or he's tall, sorry. Then you give them a word short, and they have to say he's short. Then you say young, and they say he's young. This kind of drill has been shown to not really be very memorable for kids, because they don't need to think much. They just replace one adjective with another. He's tall, he's short, he's young. Try structural drills. So say, for example, he's short, and then you say tall, but you give them a negative sign. And I don't know what the negative sign would be in your culture. So please forgive me if I've just used a sign that you wouldn't use. I don't know. In some countries, I've seen for negative, they use they put their fingers like that, or whatever, or they shake their heads to say no. You need to adapt that to your culture, please. Okay. So I say he's tall, and then I say, for example, short, and I give a negative sign, and they have to say he isn't sorry, short. And then maybe you say he's young, and then you say Maria or Susanna or whatever, a girl's name, you know better the names of your children. And then they have to say she and change the sentence. So, okay, negative, you just use thumbs. Okay, fine. I didn't actually know that. So anyway, use structural drills and not semantic drills would be my suggestion. So here now we have a page which is about values. And of course, when it comes to families, we are talking values. That's very important. And what is important, a very important value, I believe, is that we are all different. So some people are short, others are old, others are tall, others are young. And so we can celebrate our differences. So children listen and read, they point and say, I'm short, I'm old, I'm tall, we're all different, and that's great. And then they draw their family in this little frame on the page on the left-hand page here, and they use the language here to talk about their drawing. Of course, they can also, if they want, bring photographs, but they can also easily draw here. Then the next thing we have is we are starting with the skills now. We have listening and speaking. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Mohammed. We're different. It's totally fine. Yes, that's what we want children to learn, appreciate differences also. Good. So the next thing here is listening and speaking. This is my brother. Hello. Nice to meet you. So introducing somebody, and obviously we can do little role plays here in class. They like doing things like, you know, this is my mother, or this is my mom, this is my dad, this is my sister, this is my brother, this is my grandma. Children have a good sense of humor and also imagination, and we want to do that in class. And then here again, pointing and acting it out. This is my mom. Hello. Nice to meet you, introducing somebody and greeting somebody who's been introduced to you. A little tip that I would like you to try out in class. We sometimes notice that especially beginners find it difficult to repeat after us longer sentences. So, for example, hello, nice to meet you, Caroline. That doesn't seem a particularly long sentence to us, but children often in the early phases of their language learning career, they often find it difficult to repeat sentences that are longer than, say, 5, 6, or 7 syllables. And if you look at this, hello, nice to meet you, Caroline. That's 9 bits. And of course, the more capable kids in the class, they will easily repeat when you say after me, hello, nice to meet you, Caroline. But others might find it difficult. They then might say, hello, nice, Caroline. Okay, so they will not articulate very carefully. So something I always stress is the importance of backward chaining. In other words, okay, Aziza, I hear you. I can hear your question. I will repeat the difference between semantic and structural drill. I think I wasn't very clear there. Apologies. I'll do that in a minute. So we have here the teacher, instead of saying, say after me, hello, nice to meet you, Caroline, the teacher says, say after me. And the teacher says, Caroline, and they repeat, Caroline. And then the teacher goes, you, Caroline, and they repeat, you, Caroline. And then meet you, Caroline. And they repeat, meet you, Caroline. In other words, we chain up a sentence from back to front and they repeat. And I don't know why this technique is extremely helpful for children to remember longer sentences. Briefly, I'm going back to explain the difference between a semantic drill and a structural drill. Let us say we have there is, there are, okay? So there is, I don't know, a book, there are 6 books. Now, imagine a semantic drill would be, I have a sentence, there are 6 books. Then I say apples. The children say there are 6 apples. Then I say pencils. They say there are 6 pencils. So all they do is they replace one semantic item, one word, with another word, okay? So that's a semantic drill. Not very powerful in terms of helping them to remember language because they can do it automatically without thinking. Now, if I do a structural drill, I will say, for example, there's a pair of jeans, and then I say 2 t-shirts. And now, if they've learned it already, they can't say there's 2 t-shirts, they have to say there are 2 t-shirts. And then I say a car. They have to say there's a car. Then I say 5 boys and 6 girls. And they have to say there are 5 boys and 6 girls. You see what I mean? They have to think about the structure to use. In this case, there is, there are. And that is much, much, much better for memory than just getting them to do semantic drills where they just replace one word by another. I hope that is clear now. Apologies again for not making it clear previously. Okay, here we go. Let's move on. The next spread on the left-hand side, you have imagine, create, and play. That's a little project in every unit in Marbles. Children engage in doing a little project. So here we have imagine, create, and play. And first of all, they listen.
1. Look, listen, and tick.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Teddy.
Oh, it's Teddy's birthday. How old are you?
I'm 3.
Happy birthday, Teddy. Who's that?
That's my dad, and that's my mum, and my grandma and grandpa.
Wow, your grandpa is old.
Yes.
And your grandma is short.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a short dialogue here where Teddy is actually talking about his family. Obviously, children have already learned this. Now, they look and they close their eyes, they listen and imagine, and then they have this little easel here, and they draw in this frame, they draw a picture. They have to imagine a toy, and they have to imagine the toy family. So here is Teddy talking about his family. It could be I'm a doll or I'm a robot, what have you. And they imagine their family and they draw it in here, okay?
2. Close your eyes, listen, and imagine. Then draw your toy family in the picture and say,
Close your eyes. Imagine you are a toy. What toy are you?
A doll? A teddy? A robot? Now imagine your toy family. Is your dad tall? Is your grandpa short? Is your sister young? Now draw your toy family.
Okay, and now they can draw, and with the help of the language they have learned, they also see here on this page, for example, I'm a doll, this is my mom, she's tall. They can talk. Of course, children will say different things. Some will say more. Some will also make longer sentences. They could say, I'm a doll. This is my mom. She is tall. This is my sister Caroline. She is short, etc., etc. So there is space for the children to say as much as they want. And the teacher will encourage them to say more. But it's also okay if a child, maybe a child, who is not so at ease yet with speaking, that she just says one or two short sentences here. And then the last page of the unit, you can see it here on the right-hand page. That is the review page. They point, ask, and answer. Number one, who's that? That's my grandma. She's tall, etc., etc. Then they read and match. Very simple language. In the mountains, on the beach, in a city. I think we have a young learner talking in the background. And also in the end, they can actually sort of assess their own knowledge. They can tick whether they know the family words. They can tick whether they know things like on the beach, in a city. What is that one? That's in the mountains. And then we say, are you ready for unit 4? Okay, very briefly, let's have a look also at the project pages. This is towards the end. I don't know where I put my, here I can put it. So here they are producing finger puppets that they can color in themselves. They can cut them, they can fold them, and they can color them. And that's nice because when children have finger puppets, they can use them to act out little dialogues also. Project work, I've already said how important it is. I always like to quote the famous educational philosopher, Kieran Egan, who says, imagination is the ability to think of things as possible. I have blocked my own vision here. To think of things as possible, the source of flexibility and originality in human thinking. My tip, of course, we want every child to be excellent in English, but it's also normal, isn't it, to make mistakes? So my tip is to praise them for making an effort, because if we praise them for getting it right, then that is something that not everybody will achieve. Not everybody will be able to do everything perfectly well. So at least in the beginning, we should actually praise them for making efforts. Yeah, there is, of course, a level 5 and there is a level 6. They're both very exciting books. I don't have the time here. I needed to make a selection. Obviously, that's why I selected a unit from level 1 and the unit from level 3. But I'm sure that the Calliope team will actually show you levels 5 and 6, and maybe in a future webinar I can actually show you, and I'll be very happy to also show you materials from the higher levels. They are based on the same principles, but of course, a course book has to grow with the child's age, both in terms of the content, both in terms of the protagonists in the stories, etc., etc. Let's have a look now at this is level 3. No, sorry, this is the workbook. I'm sorry, the workbook of the same unit I've just shown you. There is a page that goes with each of the pages in the student's book. So the workbook practices very clearly what they have learned in the book, the words, the grammar, the pronunciation, also the songs are there, the our world language. So they're really practicing all of this to help them and remember as much as possible. Other features in Marbles 1, we also have some CLIL, content and language integrated learning, in this case, natural science. They're talking about the senses, what they touch, what they smell, what they taste, hear, and see. I'm not going to play this now. And we also have a video for level 1. I'm not going to, for time reasons, I'm going to show you only a very, very brief extract, just a few seconds, so you can see the quality of this. The children, a group of children have a friend, this little character whose name is What's It, and What's It helps the children when they have a problem, and sometimes also he plays little tricks on them. So he's a character with a good sense of humor, and also he's extremely helpful. Again, we're talking about values also. You can use it in year 1. Please don't forget, I'm going through this at a very fast pace, but it's actually really nicely developed. If, let's say, you only have 1 hour or 2 hours, then maybe you're right. This is actually a bit too much for 1 hour or for 2 hours. So you will need to be a little patient. And in the spring, there will be something specifically.
What's it and
for you. Okay. Now, I've forgotten. I want to
what's
quickly
it
play
and
a few
friends?
seconds from this video.
Cat in a tree.
Come on, Dad. Pass the ball.
Here you go.
Now, Sam.
Wow.
Oh, hey, Sally. Help us look for the ball.
Okay, Sam.
Oh.
Okay, and obviously we can see there is a cat in the tree, and What's It, their friend, helps them to get the cat down from the tree. We have a picture dictionary, of course, also in the appendix, so that helps the children to remember the words. And we have a language reference where all the important language is presented again, where the structures are presented again. And now let's have a look quickly. I'm aware that we won't have very much time, but let's look at this unit from level 3. Obviously, you can see that the characters are different characters here. We're introducing new words here. This is actually the welcome unit, okay? So we are revising language from the first unit.
Look.
Again, it's full of listening activities, of videos, of songs, of chants, etc. This is not part from this book. It's just a little tip of mine. Give them choices, because when children have choices, they feel that they have an agency in their own learning process. And when I mean choices, I mean very small choices, like, do you want to practice the dialogues in pairs first before you want to act them out, or you do want to act them out straight away? Either or choices. Would you like to do exercise 3 or 4 first? Okay, so really small choices, but they feel that you actually give them a say, and that's important for the child. Sometimes when you have 5 minutes at the end of a class, you choose one student, you say, okay, Mohammed, you choose now what we are doing. You choose for the class. It needs to be something about English. It needs to be meaningful, but you choose something for these 5 minutes. And the child may say, let's sing the song again, or let's act out the dialogues again, etc., etc. This next page introduces the 2 children that we have in levels 3 and 4. Instead of Jenny and James, you remember the 2 kids from Brighton. Here we have Mia and Mike, and we can see them, for example, on a video where they are in London. Again, vocabulary with nice songs. This one is called Fun in Town. I'll play a short extract, not the whole song.
We have lots of fun in town all day. We have lots of fun, come on and play.
We have lots of fun in town all day. We have lots of fun, hooray, hooray.
There's a girl and there's a boy. There are shops and there are toys. Here's the bookshop, here's the kite. Here's the skateboard, here's the bike.
We have lots of fun in town all day. We have lots
and so
of
on.
fun,
And
come
so
on and play.
Oops. So here we go. The story in level 3 is called Space Time Adventures. It's a story, it's a fantasy story. A few friends who are somewhere on a planet, they meet another character who is actually this robot here in yellow, Mona, and she's fascinating because she can change shape. She can turn herself into a spacecraft, into a car, into a ship, etc., etc., etc. And there is also an evil character that's this woman here. Her name is, I've forgotten now, Wizard, the queen of evil, okay? And so the story obviously is it's about a fight between the good and the bad. Very important for children to develop an understanding of values. And as somebody says, there is also Wizard's bird, Spike, that actually changes character. He's very evil first, but later he changes character, becomes a good one through the influence of the children. I'll play half a minute. Here we go.
Space Time Adventures.
I love walking in the woods.
Oops, I'm sorry. Don't know what happened. Playing again? No, it always goes back here. Apologize. It's coming.
Space Time Adventures.
I love walking in the woods.
Me too. Let's explore.
Oh, be careful, Kota. Oh, hey, look. It's beautiful.
Oh, yes, it's very big.
No, look, there. Don't worry, Beta. I don't know. Can you see it?
What's that? Come here. Let's hide and watch.
Let's run away.
No, let's not.
Wow! It's a spaceship! Oh! Hello! Hello!
Hello?
What's your name?
Okay, and so they meet, and then they become friends, and this goes through level 3 and level 4. It's a story that is ongoing, and as somebody said here, the children love the stories. They can't wait to see the next episode, actually. So the structure here is the same: language 1 on one page, then the pronunciation, the phonics page, and a song. We can't sing the song now. Language 2, a bit of kill, natural science, sorry, in this case, something about whales, and then the story, and they work on the language. And last but not least, another project. And finally, the review pages. We give them support with the projects, as you can see in the appendix of the book. We have other features also. Kill, I've already said. We have Mia and Mike, the boy and the girl. And that's it. We have a few minutes left. I'm sorry for questions. I'm giving the mic back to Lars.
Thank you very much, Herbert. Thank you for this wonderful and practical and entertaining session. It has been impressive to see all the comments in the chat box from everybody being so active. And I can see that all of you love not only marbles, but you love Herbert Puchta too. No wonder. And I'm sure that you have all picked up a lot of good stuff that you can use in your class if you're already using marbles, or if you're planning to use marbles in the future, because I know some of you are possible candidates of adopters of the series. So I don't know, we have very little time. We are running out of time, as a matter of fact. So the next webinar with Herbert is on the 23rd of November, where he will talk about options and give you practical tips about how to work with options in your lower secondary classes. And what do I have to remember to tell you?
Can
you
I
will get a certificate.
Yeah, Lars, can I quickly go? I have seen in the Q&A box there are a few questions. The first one is about dictation. Should we use dictation with children? Yes, why not? But I would stick to words and sentences. I would not dictate them long texts, especially in year 1 and year 2 at primary school. Where can I find a copy of this book? You need to get in touch with Calliope, obviously. Does Marbles have a platform? Yes, of course. It's got a very rich digital support system. Obviously, we haven't had the time to go into this. You can also, of course, you have also whiteboard presentation software. How can I find such videos, especially in British English? Well, they are all in British English. They are all this book is in British English. We will one day also have an American version of it, but this is all British English, and all the audios, videos, the songs, the chants, they've all been recorded in the UK. How can I deal with timing for each lesson? Please do have a good look at the teacher's book. That helps you with that. How does imagination and creation help develop student skills? Well, especially when it comes to the development of their productive skills, writing and speaking. If they do, for example, a little role play, if they write a little text, imagination and creation are very important. But also imagine when they're reading a text. When we read a text, we do not just take words into our brain, we actually create a world. We develop in our brain places and people, and we see things while we are reading. So imagination and creativity is also used when we read. Can we have the document the professor was reading from? The professor is actually not reading from anything. I'm actually talking freely as I'm going through this. How can we make exams using the book? Very important point. We give you support. We have an exam builder that gives you support in developing exams for your students. Is it better to teach children with British English than American English for reading and pronunciation? I think we need to avoid saying that one is better or the other is better. It very much depends on the teaching culture in a country. Children these days will, of course, through the internet, they will pick up both British and American English as they proceed with their language learning. So I think we should stick to one initially, but then we have to live with the fact that some children will say tomato and not tomato because they've heard it somewhere, and that's what they will say. And I think it's perfectly okay. How can we target the learning styles of each student? Don't target it, please. I'm joking. But do use as much multisensory teaching as possible. Involve them in seeing things, in listening, in pointing, in moving, because then you make sure that all the different senses, the children's different senses are actually activated. And that's as far as we can go. Slow writers is something that is important, but I really don't have the time to go into this now. We'll deal with it one day when I come to Morocco. Please ask me the same question.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Herbert. I think you have done a great job today. And with regard to the person who asked for the document that you're reading from, I can just tell you that we will have the recording of this webinar available next week, so you can watch it again and at your own speed and in parts if you want to do that.
Excellent.
And well, I think, I don't know if I said that Calliope will send you a certificate of participation to everybody who has participated in this webinar. And today we have been around 320 people all in all. So I think it's been a fantastic webinar, and I would like to extend my gratitude not only to Herbert, but to everybody who has participated today, and to Calliope. And I look forward to seeing you or many of you again on the 23rd of November, when we are going to have a session about options, the lower secondary series. So thank you very much and have a lovely weekend.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Lars. Thank you, Miriam, for organizing this. It's always great to work with and for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Herbert. Thank you, Lars.
Pleasure.
Thank you, dear teachers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.